Our next prayer point is what is known as Aliyah. Aliyah is the Jewish return to the land of Israel. And you see here a picture of a very joyful man arriving in Israel with his family to call it home. Now, each person who returns to Israel like this represents a family line that has been scattered for 2,000 years to the far corners of the world, who's faced persecution, pogroms, who's faced Christian persecution, Islamic persecution, who's faced the Nazis in Germany, who's faced the communists in Russia, and yet they have survived. And not only have they survived, but they've come back to the land that God promised them. So every person coming back like this is a picture of God's faithfulness to the Jewish people and his faithfulness to you and me today. So we want to start off by giving thanks for the 3.5 million Jews that have returned to Israel from all over the world since 1948. This is an amazing story and one of the greatest miracles in our time, and a proof that the God of the Bible lives. God said in Ezekiel 36 that I will take you out from among the nations. I'll gather you out of all countries, and I'll bring you into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you'll be clean. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. And so we see the promise of the Jewish return is also linked to the promise of a new heart, of a new spirit, and ultimately of turning to the Lord himself. So it's an amazing prophetic development. We need to cover a couple of prayer topics here. One is Aliyah from Australia. Now, Jewish people in Australia are also returning back to Israel, and there are about 200 to 300 of them making Aliyah every year. This is quite good for a Western country, yet many of them are very settled and very comfortable in Australia. There's about 120,000 Jews living in Australia, and we believe that God is calling them home. Now, just in the last year, 7 Jewish people were helped by the Christian organization Ebenezer to make Aliyah from Australia. And Ebenezer is looking to make more connections with the Jewish community here, to be able to assist those who fall between the cracks and don't get the help they need from others, who don't quite have the finances, and to be able to assist them and help them return. So would you join us in praying that God will continue to call his people home from the 4 corners of the world, in particular from Australia, and that those who need to be helped by a Christian organization like Ebenezer, that the contact will be established, that we'll have favor with the local Jewish communities, that they will trust us, and that we can work together to see the fulfillment of God's promises. A second prayer point is Messianic Aliyah. Now, Messianic Aliyah means the return of Jewish people to the land who believe in Jesus. Now, that is a very controversial and very touchy subject in Israel today, because the Messianics are seen as people who have abandoned the faith, who have turned their back on Jewish history to become Christians, to become Gentiles. But we know that Jews who believe in Jesus, they are still Jews to this day. Now, the current legal situation is that any Messianic Jew with a Jewish mother is not allowed to make Aliyah. The legal precedent set would mean that they would lose any court case that they face, and they'll be forced to leave the country. Whereas if you are a Messianic Jew and you don't have a Jewish mother but other Jewish relatives, such as a Jewish father or Jewish grandparents, then you are eligible to make Aliyah, and several high-profile Messianics have made Aliyah this way. We know several Messianic Jews who have been denied making Aliyah, and we believe this is part of their God-given inheritance, is the land of Israel. So would you join us in prayer that God will make a way for these people to be able to return to the land as well, just as the court has said no to these Messianic applicants. May we together now appeal to a higher court, appeal to the court of heaven, because God has given an inheritance to his people, and that includes the Jews who believe in Jesus right now. So let's spend some time praying regarding Aliyah and the Jewish return.